Hello my friends, you're listening to Ebird Online. I'm so sorry I've been missing in action, but I'm back now. And well, I've been having quite a few thoughts on quite a few people, yes that's right. I'm going to get straight into the new season of 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, and it's season 8. So today we're going to be looking at Rob and Sophie, and it will come as a surprise to absolutely nobody that these two have split up already. I would say it makes a 90 Day Fiance record, but come through Natalie and Mike, for we all know that that crown is rightfully yours. And guys, there's so much to unpack about this. The couple have moved to Tennessee. Oh no, not Tennessee. Yeah, Texas, that's it. The couple have moved to Texas. And finally, they're living like human beings, for they have an indoor loo. Such luxury. And they also have 3 dogs. And no guys, I'm not talking about Rob's internet lady friends. I mean 3 actual dogs, 3 canines. Rob, you can barely look after yourself. Why are you collecting animals? But I digress, that's not what we're going to talk about today. For today, I'm going to be asking that age-old question. What is wrong with Rob? But guys, unfortunately, by exactly the same token, I have to ask, what's Sophie up to? These guys really are a car crash. So I'm going to look at the story of Sophie and Rob so far this season. There's quite a lot to get into.
We drank too much wine last night. Sometimes we overdo it. But obviously, I feel like since we've moved in, we've just having the best time. I'm just so glad that you let me live here, after everything that happened with Rob.
I'm so glad you left when you did.
Wait, what? Guys, my first thought was, wow, she wasted no time acting out her bicurious fantasies. But it turns out that these 2 girls are allegedly just good friends. Allegedly. So guys, Sophie spent all last season telling us that she was wincing at the state of her wig. But it would seem that this season, she's gone out and got one far worse. And she proudly displays it to production. And she lets them know that unfortunately, the first year of marriage didn't exactly go how she expected it to go. First year of marriage? Sophie, we're minutes later. You mean your first week of marriage? But it is all fairly unsurprising because of course you did marry Rob. And Sophie and Kay are laying on the bed. And Sophie's explaining exactly what went wrong. But guys, I didn't listen to a word of that boring crap because look what I spotted. What? Sophie and Kay apparently are best friends forever. Guys. Yeah, you're going to have to go above and beyond to convince me that these 2 aren't shagging. Or whatever, scissoring. Sorry guys, I live almost relentlessly in the 1980s. I've got my good eye on both of them. Anyway, next we go over to meet Rob. And do my ears deceive me? Is he finally taking responsibility for his own actions?
The problem started when I online cheated. It had happened before. Sophie and I were living together in LA, before the K1 visa. There were women sending inappropriate videos and pictures and basically porn. And I encouraged it. So the fact is, I online cheated and I don't deny that.
Well. It's the first time I've seen growth from Rob, outside of his underpants of course. But I have to say, I am really glad that he's, taking responsibility for his actions. So this leads me to wonder, why have they split up? And basically, Sophie was perusing around on the internet and a message popped up. And she discovered that Rob had been speaking to many, many more girls than he'd admitted to, and it was much, much worse. The whole scenario was worse. How it could be, I don't know, but apparently it was. Guys, is there a difference between, say, 10 girls and 30 girls? I think his real misdemeanour here was just not being open once he was caught about exactly how many girls he was talking to. The eBird has a feeling it's going to be a case of Facebookius deletius very soon for our Rob if he wants to win Sophie back. Anyway, it turns out that Kay, Sophie's new friend, and Rob don't get on. And in fact, Rob describes her as the bane of his life. And I've got to admit, I did know that Kay was, an antagonist when she was talking to Sophie. And Sophie said, the thing is, I just don't know when Rob's going to do it again. And Kay was like, yeah, definitely. You can't trust him. Oh God, no. Methinks she wants Sophie for herself. And guys, this is really giving me the same energy of Natalie and that Russian bird she went to live with after she split up with Mike. The one she used. And it would seem I'm not the only person thinking along those lines.
Yeah, she's got this one friend, Kay, that is kind of like the bane of my existence. She's just ruining our relationship, I feel like. And that's the girl she lives with. That she doesn't respect our marriage. She doesn't respect me. So it's like, that's who's in her ear all the time. So it's definitely not helping our relationship whatsoever. And bro, to be honest, I am thinking that, are you this girl? Like, are y'all in a relationship?
Wow, Rob really is worried about this. Don't worry, Rob. Kay's not a lesbian, but her girlfriend is. Her name's Sophie. Yeah, those two are banging. Anyway, Rob's friend asks him, what's Kay's sexuality? And Rob said, I really don't know. But his friend was an almighty wind-up, and he kept saying, Rob, your girlfriend is sleeping with someone else. They're in a relationship together. And I gotta say, Rob did look pretty doubtful, but he told his friend, I daren't ask because, well, I think it's gonna make things worse. Well, guys, I really don't know. I know I've been joking about it, but I don't know if they're seeing each other or not. Over to you, Kay.
It's just hard for me because it's like, this isn't how it's meant to be, you know? And I just like really want things to work out, you know? But it's like, I don't even live with my husband. I live here, you know?
I know, and I'm taking care of you better than he is. Literally.
Oh, good Lord, guys. It's the literally that had me. Well, literally that had me. She really did give a kind of knowing smile. There really could be something going on between these two. Anyway, guys, moving on. Who else is in Texas? I'll tell you who. Sophie's mum. And it would seem she's got a new boyfriend in tow. His name's John and he too lives in Texas. And guys, I hate to be so unnecessarily negative, but I do so often do it. But I don't get a good feeling from John. I really don't. He talks super fast. And I only catch about one word in 3. Yeah, it's strange. He really doesn't enunciate. At all.
How long have you lived here?
In America?
Yeah.
Nearly a year now.
Oh, that's it?
Do you understand him?
Why wouldn't I understand him?
I don't understand what he says half the time, 90% of the
I
time.
understand what you say.
Yeah, guys, he really does need subtitles. He's Claire's boyfriend, and even she doesn't know what he's talking about. And then we've got somebody else who's equally as phonetically challenged.
So, as soon as she flew to America, as soon as she got there, he was an absolute arse. He used to go out, leave her. He was always sad, always crying me. He online cheated. I can go on and on and on.
You could go on and on. You mean you are going on and on. Anyway, they gobble their way through the conversation, which pretty much consisted of Rob's a knob, nobody likes him, least of all Claire. Sophie then very helpfully lets her mum know she's thinking about moving back in with him. Claire can't believe her ears. She thinks this is asinine. She said, what do you want to do that for? That's just stupid. And Sophie said, well, you don't know him like I do. And Claire said, I do actually. Claire, grow up. No, you don't. She's so schoolgrown. So anyway, Sophie's bleating on, saying she thinks Rob can grow up and that he really is a good person. Things just went a bit wrong. But guys, then she told production, I just want to meet with him, and if he shows me the slightest inkling that he can change and that he can grow up, then I'm happy to move back in with him and work on it. Now guys, this is where I see the big problem. Sophie, what is it that you want? You say you want him to show that he can change, but there's literally, unfortunately, no way to do that unless you just move back in with him and take the chance. Yes, I thoroughly agree this online cheating business, it was pretty bad, but unfortunately, you married him after that, so you've more or less tacitly said, it's bad, but not so bad that I won't marry you. You've now found out there were more girls than you originally thought. But I can't help but think, what difference does that make? Kind of. I know people are going to lambast me for this, but what was he supposed to do? Say, oh my God, I've forgotten to tell you about Saucy Susanna. What she can do with a Satsuma, well, let me show you the videos. Oh, and I almost forgot lascivious Laura. She can get both legs behind her head. And if I just click into this folder here, bingo, there she is. What was he supposed to do? Was he supposed to trawl through his hidden files and show you all these girls in various states of, well, undress, doing God knows what? Of course he wasn't. Come on now. So next time we see Rob, he's driving on his way to a selfie gallery. He's going to meet up with Sophie and they'll talk about the state of their relationship, and Rob tells us he'll do anything to get Sophie back. He says he's going to hold himself accountable and hopefully, just hopefully, Sophie will move back in. Oh, Rob, my darling. Kay's got other ideas. Anyway, he meets up with Sophie at the selfie gallery. Okay, gallery. A noun, a room or building for the display or the sale of works of art. Looking at this, it's many things, but it ain't no gallery. I was just considering reporting this gallery to the Supreme Court of Texas under the Trades Descriptions Act for misleading customers. But I discovered it was closed down in May 2023. And not a moment before time. No doubt many people are unhappy with the fact that it's actually not a gallery. It is in fact just somewhere that people go to take selfies of themselves. Oh Lord.
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I
look
guess I
nice.
didn't even recognize you. I'm like, oh.
Wow. You got those perked up, don't you?
It's crazy that after all the drama and everything that's happened, that Rob can still give me butterflies.
Butterflies, Sophie, that's not butterflies. That's just the feeling of the sense leaving your body. And so the couple, of course, get to taking selfies and photos in this gallery. And when they'd finished, they decide to sit down and have a chat about their relationship. I say a chat, I mean a raging argument, of course. What else would it be with this couple? And so apparently it goes a little something like this. Sophie did a factory reset on Rob's phone, and guess what popped up? 100 breasts belonging to 50 biatches that allegedly Rob was chatting to. He, of course, said that was before, and then she said, but you should have told me. Guys, both true. And so Rob said, yes, we had some small conversations, and I lied about that. I should have told you. But that's in the past now. I want to put the past behind us and move towards the future. Rob, the best predictor of future behaviour is, guess what? Past behaviour. And so they argue back and forth about these girls. Rob said, well, they were just conversations. And Sophie said, you know the intent. It was much more than that, and you didn't tell me. And Rob said, well, I'm sorry, but I want to move on. And Sophie pointed out, but you're not taking accountability. I need to know that you're never going to do this again. And I need you to really say I'm sorry and mean it. And guys, they just argued back and forth. And in the end, Sophie got up and walked out. And I think this little excerpt kind of tells us where Sophie's coming from.
Sophie, I'm
not talking about
literally
right now.
here apologizing.
I
for
gave you
all
2.5 months to change.
And I'm here apologizing for all these things. You won't let it go.
Because it's so frustrating to someone to hurt you so bad and just downplay it. But it's like, you don't get it, I have nothing to talk about.
And so that's where we leave things for this episode, guys. I see both points of view here. Obviously Rob's in the wrong. I don't think anyone's denying that. But the big problem is, these are historic wrongdoings. He should of course told Sophie the extent of the wrongdoings at the time. But Sophie still knew he'd cheated. Online cheated as they call it. And she still went ahead and married him. So Rob kind of thinks he's in the clear. But on the other hand, Rob is very flippant. Yeah, I'm saying sorry. You can't do an action, Rob, for 4 years and say, I'm sorry. What do you want me to do about it? It's a sorry of the soza variety. It really is. And so what I think Sophie's struggling to say, and what I think she wants to get through to Rob is, this is actually a big deal. A really big deal. And I want you to act like it is. There's a difference between accepting you did something and saying sorry and acknowledging and taking accountability for what you did. Rob is still saying, but that was before you were in the US. And that meant nothing to me. It's just free porn. Whilst he's saying that, he's not really taking accountability, although he is actually admitting his actions. And by her leaving the house and, well, flirting with this lesbian, I think she's trying to give very real consequences to his actions. And who knows, she might be successful. But guys, hot on the heels of this video, I'm going to come with a part 2, which will cover the rest of the shenanigans of Rob and Sophie so far this season. Unfortunately, I don't have time to cover every single couple every week, so guys, please put down in comments below which couple you'd like me to cover next for an in-depth breakdown. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all of that good stuff. And I'll see you in a few hours or so, give or take. You've been listening to Ebird Online, and I bid you good day.
Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just me, your body, your mind. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of bird.